Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. First of all, I'd like to wish you a happy new year, and I hope you had a good transition out of that nasty 2020. In this video, I'll do a little summary of all the art I have done last year. A few of those pieces I don't have anymore, so instead of waving the originals around in front of the camera, I will be putting the scans into the video. And brace yourselves, because this one's gonna be a little bit longer. Get yourself a coffee and make yourself comfortable. So my art year began in March, after not being able to do anything artistic in January and February because I was out of the house all week. And after that we got locked up in lockdown in the third month of the year, I think. And what else can you do in that boredom than just consume and produce art? And to that time I decided to just draw something every day to better my skills. Just some small pieces. That's why my year started. This first piece was an unplanned, spontaneous outbreak that I did in an hour or two, I think. A beehawk moth that I once found in our garden and of which I had made a photo. This is colored pencil on a black drawing paper sample from Gas Decker. The second piece was a little ladybug, and the reference I think was from Google or somewhere else, since I did not intend to sell it or do anything else with this practice. Also because my drawing in the end wasn't anatomically perfect. It was destined to be put into my storage map and never to be seen again. But in the end, I ended up gifting this to a friend. And this one is done with Prismacolors, polychromos and a white Posca marker on my Fabriano Academia sketchbook. The third piece was a little bit more planned and more elaborate. A peacock butterfly for which I tried out my Strathmore toned tan paper I still had flying around here. I like it very much after the pieces I have done on it so far, because it makes colored pencils just pop. And reference for this piece was my own. I have so many butterfly photos on my computer that piled over the years. Yeah. This was drawn with polychromos, luminance and Pablos. At this point I thought, okay, I'm done with insects now. I know my skills in that department, and so let's move on and try some fruit. And I must say I'm quite satisfied with how this piece turned out. I also want to say at this point that all these small practice pieces are completely eyeballed. I did not use any transfer method for these because I wanted to train my eyes. And just for correctness, I will also list all the reference sources in the description here, because some of them are requiring a mention if you use the photos. Here I changed subject again, because apparently fruit was also compatible with my skills, and so I chose to tackle a weakness of mine, that is everything that has 4 legs. And my study object became a stag. Again, I used the tone tan for this because I wanted to achieve one of those classical pencil and highlight looks. Well, you see, I'm still not doing too well with 4-legged animals. That stag turned out to be kinda malnourished. This sketch was drawn with pencil and white pastel pencil on toned tan paper. And apparently I didn't do anything in May or June or worked on a commission to that time. That was one of many that I unfortunately can't show you yet. But could also be that I was working on the next piece on my list here, which took me way too long. So onwards to July. The next piece is a squirrel, for which I worked with the same technique that I did the stag with. I just underestimated the amount of time that goes into fur like this, so it took me a little longer. Again, this is completely freehand in pencil and white pastel pencil on tone tan. And in between, a friend came up to me and asked if I could paint a phoenix for him. And of course I said yes. I love to do elaborate acrylic paintings, and I always felt somewhat connected to the phoenix topic. I also did a video for this one, and I will put a link to it for you somewhere into this video. If it works, because I'm still new to this info card thing. I also more and more enjoy to work in mixed media these days. So this piece, for example, is acrylics combined with color pencils. I just like the detail that I can achieve with adding markers or color pencils, where I would never be able to achieve that with only acrylics. No reference here, all completely from my brain. And after the phoenix, I encountered a little girl on Instagram who is just learning to draw. I think she still is. A shout out to Sensia's Creation on Instagram here, spelled C-E-N-C-I-A. And after giving her a drawing lesson in an instant live stream, the glorious idea of making a series of draw with me's popped up in my mind. I did a first episode, of which this apple is the result, just to realize that I can impossibly keep doing this format and put out episodes regularly, because there's so much work going into this that I completely underestimated. So I've stopped doing it, and I'm focusing more on time lapses with explanations now. And the apple is done in pencil on some sketch paper I had here, and reference was my own. Here I'm trying something new. Again. This year was kinda all over the place for me. I tried out so much stuff and really tested my borders. And after having done some butterflies and color pencil, I now switched medium and did another one with metallic watercolors. The result turned out okay, but I'm still not very happy with it. But after all, it's just the first try. This was done in fine-tag pearl colors on Hanemühle Torsion paper, yeah. And the reference was again one of my own butterfly photos. And after seeing that first try of metallic butterfly, a dear friend came up to me and commissioned one for herself. But this time a green-black one. I used the same technique here again, but I knew what I had to pay attention to when working with these paints now. For this one I also have done a video, and I'm gonna put up a link for you again somewhere. This was done in fine-tag pearl colors, again on the Hanemühle Torsion. I can't pronounce this word. Torsion. And the reference came from Pixabay, but I had to merge a few of these together in my head, since there wasn't that one perfect butterfly I was able to work from. Yeah. This was originally intended to be part 2 of my failed series, a red Dipladenia flower from our garden. Done in polychromos on Strathmore Bristle 500 plate surface. And I used this chance for a paper test as well, as I had this sheet among the singles for testing that I order sometimes. But unfortunately I have to say that I don't like the surface texture of this paper very much. I prefer my 300 Bristol Smooth much more for color pencil pieces. Also done a video for this one again, and the link is somewhere here in the video. This pumpkin is the story of never tell yourself you're not gonna draw something for some kind of occasion, because you'll end up doing it anyway. I didn't want to draw or paint something for Halloween last year. Well, you can see I failed. I just gave in to my urge that one day overcame me, that said me I want to draw a pumpkin. And this piece was done in solely Caran-luminance on a piece of leftover Gastaker Passepartout cardboard that I had flying around here. And the reference came from Pixabay. And this is the aftermath of the pumpkin. Not my fault. Well, maybe a little. After posting a work in progress of my pumpkin, a friend came up and commented, "That's a banana!" And of course I picked that one up and drew her a banana, just for fun. Also a little experiment again, as I pulled out another sheet of my to-be-tested pile, some Dura-Lar, some plastic instead of paper, that is claimed to be suitable for colored pencils too, but after trying it out, I don't really think so. It's hard to get smooth transitions or really any kind of texture on that stuff. Not gonna be using that again, sorry. And the reference was again from Pixabay. And the drawing was done with my freshly arrived Derwent Lightfasts. At the start of this month, a weird urge overcame me to finish up some old pieces that were flying around here for way too long. And the first one here was a drawing I had begun in 2012 or 13, I think, and that was originally intended to be made into a huge banner to take with me when some friends and I flew to London back in 2013 to dwell in a bit of nostalgia and watch the big reunion show in the O2. But in the end, our seats were way too high and the chance of getting seen was absolutely zero, so yeah, this piece landed in the corner. This was done in pencil on sketch paper, drawn on 2 separate sheets of A3, because back then I did not know that such a thing as A2 drawing paper is actually a thing. Yeah. The second old piece I finished up was my first try of wanting to pick up the trend of painting negative images. And I don't know anymore when I had begun this one, but it's also been a few years. This one started when, out of curiosity, I got myself a little black canvas on the trip to Gastaker in Munich, because I wanted to try out working on a black background. And in the end I chose a motif that was easy, but not too easy. The good old amaranth flower done by Toxic Angel, turned into a negative. This was painted with acrylics, and of course the reference is not mine. And here we have the start of something new. Again. In the end of November, I started an Instagram account for my author self, because I've written a fantasy novel and intend to publish it, hopefully, next year. And so I decided, okay, since there's gonna be an illustrated version of this book anyway at some point, why not start doing some character portraits and presentations? This first drawing shows that I completely overestimated my abilities to just throw out a quick image. But well, yeah, we all learn, don't we? And here's the second portrait of that kind. And for that one I had done my homework, knowing now that these pieces can't be done in just one afternoon. I took much more time with this one and I'm kinda satisfied with the results. Both of these portraits are done in pencil on Canson XL bristle paper. Yeah, another paper test. And I really like this paper so far. This, well, every year when it's getting colder, I have this weird obsession with wanting to paint something with snow. These winter paintings have become sort of a tradition for me, and after not having time for one in 2018 and 19, I finally was able to do one again last year. And another video was done for this one, and the link is somewhere in this video. This was painted with acrylics on canvas, and the reference image came from Pixabay. Another new thing. I told you this year is full of them. After a long day, I got swamped here on YouTube seeing some videos in my recommendations of people drawing and painting mandalas. I watched one and was hooked. And as always when I'm hooked on something artsy, my inner voice starts shouting, I want to! Problem was, I had to vary medium because I'm too dumb to craft plastic cones and I didn't have the right consistency of acrylics here, so what did I do? Yeah, I got out my watercolors again and did my 3 first little mandalas just for practice. And after that, I somewhat got a feeling for that kind of technique and set off to a new adventure. So as you probably know from my last video, the big metallic green one was that next piece. I also chose a black paper here because these paints just stick out so much more on a dark background. I really like the outcome. And if you haven't seen my last video yet, here's another link for you somewhere. And we've come to the last piece for last year. Another character portrait for my author social media. I had a reference for this one, but from there things went somehow downhill and I don't really know anymore who that woman is. Yet she somewhat fits the character I wanted to portray. Yeah. So you can see this is a happy accident. Again, this was done in pencil on Canson XL bristle. And that's it. This is the pile of work that I got done besides the invisible pieces last year. I think 2020 might have been my most productive year ever and never threw out so much stuff. How was your year? Did you get a lot done or not so much really? Did you feel more motivated overall or did this year just make you lose it? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me in the future, then yeah, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching and see you all in the next one. Bye!